Hello there. Today is episode 2 of our series on starting a YouTube channel from scratch. So today we're going to be taking the account that we created in the last episode and actually setting up a YouTube channel. Now I've already done a video on creating the banner graphic for your channel. So I'll link that up at the top here, and you can go check that one out if you need it. So let's get started. Welcome back. I'm Fuzzee D, and this is Fuzzee Tutorials. Okay, there's actually been a small change of plans. This is actually going to be my second time at recording the bulk of this tutorial. What I've decided is there's actually going to be a third video. I had forgotten how much there's actually involved in taking you through every aspect of setting up and customizing a channel. I'm not sure exactly at what point I'm going to break it, but I don't want the videos to get too long. So there will be a part 3. So we'll get through as much as we can today on this one, and we'll go from there. So basically what we're trying to accomplish today is I'm going to show you how to be able to go from no channel at all to something that looks kind of like what we've got here on my main channel, with a bunch of nice sections set up and laid out with intro video. So when somebody comes to the channel for the first time, they'll automatically get a video played for them that introduces the channel, and also show you how to set it up so that when they are subscribed and come back, you can be having a different video featured. So whatever video you want to be promoting at that point in time, we can do that as well. And we're also going to cover the advanced primary setup for your channel and all that kind of thing. So let's get going here. So we're going to go over to our Google account that we had set up in the first part of the tutorial, and we're going to go over here and click on YouTube after selecting that little grid of dots. And we're going to pop this down and click on create a channel. Okay, now in the initial video that I did on this, I indicated you should use your real name, and then I overlaid that with text telling you not to do that. Well, I'm not sure if I just wasn't remembering correctly or if they've changed things, but when you go to create your channel, you've actually got the opportunity to set up your channel name at this point. Now it will default to using whatever name you set up when you opened your new Google account. But here you can make a final decision on what you want your channel name to be. So since I've already changed it to be Fuzzee Demos, then we'll go with that for the purposes of the tutorial. And then we'll just go down here and click on create channel once you're happy with the name. We'll cut back when it's done creating the channel. It shouldn't take long. Oh, okay, so all I did to check back that it was ready to go is I just clicked on the refresh up here. So if you just waited a couple of minutes and then click on that, if it doesn't come up, then just wait a couple more minutes, kind of a thing. First, before we carry on, I just wanted to mention what this is about up here. This red warning. This is just to do with an add-on that I have installed on my browser called TubeBuddy. And it's not something we need to worry about. I just haven't created an account for this channel, and I'm not going to bother, being it's just for tutorials. At some point I'll be doing a small tutorial about TubeBuddy, but that's a video for another day. Okay, so we're going to click on Customize Channel, and we're going to go to branding. Now we've already got the profile picture that we set up on our account. Now if you want to change it here, or if you didn't add one for your Google account, you can do that here now. And then we also need a header image for your channel. Some people don't put one in, but I really don't recommend that. You really should have a proper banner. Now I've got a tutorial that I've made on how to create the banner, and you notice I've got a template up on screen. So this shows you how big it needs to be and shows you the areas that are going to show up under different circumstances. So the gray in the middle is what you would see if you're logged in on a smartphone or a tablet, like an iPad or something. And then the gray and the orange together is what's going to show up on a web browser and many smart TVs. And if you've got kind of one of the more rare smart TVs, it will sometimes display this entire area. It really depends on the operating system of your smart TV and how they've implemented the YouTube software. So just something to be aware of. So you definitely want to create an image with the whole thing. And this is available for download. I'll leave a link in the description. There's also a link in the description of the video where I show you how to actually lay it out and design it in Inkscape. It's not really a design video, just the basics on how to actually put together a banner. So once you've got that in place, you can come back to this point and carry on from here. Now there's going to be a lot of information to cover here, so I'm going to leave links down in the description for the time codes or the chapters, so you can jump back and forth to the areas you need as you need them. That would be especially good for future reference if you're coming back to kind of reacquaint yourself with some of the more advanced things. We've already got one that I designed for the tutorial today. So we'll just hit upload. So we'll grab that and click open. Now, because it's sized perfectly, we don't need to mess around with adjusting any of this stuff. We can just accept it as done. And you'll see it updated the little picture here. And now we've got the video watermark. Now this is entirely optional, but if you put this in, it'll display the little tiny image, whatever you decide to use, and it'll overlay it on top of your video, and it gives you some options. So we'll go ahead and put one in just so you can kind of see how it works. And we'll just grab a flat logo. And we can select done. And then you can have it only show up at the end of the video, or you can have it show up at a custom time. So you can decide, okay, I want this to start 5 seconds into the video or 30 seconds into the video or whatever. It's completely up to you. Most people will use a custom time, and it defaults to 5 seconds in, it'll start. And we'll publish. We'll let that finish. And now we can view the channel. And there we go. So now you can see our banners in place. There's our name. And we've got no subscribers. Before we get to actually trying to upload any videos and set up kind of the main sections of the channel like I was showing you on my other channel, we need to go into the actual settings for your channel. So we'll go down here and we'll click on settings. So now we can go to advanced settings down here. Here it shows you your user ID, your channel ID, and if you decide you want to delete your channel, that's where you find it here, or creating a brand account attached to this channel. But we're not going to worry about that for now. I just wanted to show you that it was there. So we'll go back here to account. And we'll go to channel status and features. Okay, so now we've got our feature eligibility. And here, if for some of the more advanced features that you want to enable, you have to have your account verified. So let's pop down this little list here, and then we're going to go verify phone number. So if you want to be able to upload custom thumbnails and have videos longer than 15 minutes, do live streaming, be able to appeal any content ID claims. So that's pretty important. You really need to do this. So we're going to verify the phone number. And in this case, we're just going to have it text me a verification code. Select our country. In my case, it's Canada. Now you don't need to see my phone number, so I'm going to blur that out. And we'll click on Get Code. And then it's going to text me that 6-digit code. I don't mind that you see that because it's a one-time code. And we'll submit that. And now our phone number is verified. Okay, so we can close that. All right, so we can go up to General here, and you want to choose your currency. It's not important at this point, but it will be important later on. So, of course, I'll choose Canadian dollar. And then you want to set up your country. And this is important because how videos get suggested to other people from your channel, your country of residence is going to play a part in that. And now here we can add keywords for the entire channel. So when somebody is doing a search for a particular channel as opposed to a specific video, then these are the keywords it's going to be looking for. And although keywords aren't as important as they used to be for actual videos, they are much more important for the channel itself. So, and you don't need to capitalize them. It doesn't care about what case it's in. Whatever they type in, whether it's uppercase or lowercase, it'll all match the same. And you just use a comma to separate the keywords. Okay, well, that's enough for the purposes of the tutorial. And then we've got some advanced settings here. And right now it's set to, I want to review this setting for every video. This is in relation to, is it made for kids? Now, a little bit of word about this. This isn't meant to say that, okay, it's okay for a kid to watch my video. It means, have I made this video specifically for children? And if you're not making it specifically for children, you know, like Sesame Street type content or something, then you want to say no. And the reason for that is if you have a children's channel, people cannot click the notification bell to be notified of new videos upcoming. There may be some other effects of it as well, on how suggestions for your videos get sent out, but I'm not aware of all the ins and outs of that. But I do know that is one major thing. So make sure you select it here. Then you don't have to worry about it again. Because if you have it set to review, then people still won't be able to click the notification bell on your channel. So, and we'll just scroll down here, and now this is completely up to you, but I like to turn this on so don't show potentially inappropriate words. And subscriber count. Now there is a couple of schools of thought about showing your subscriber count when you first start your channel. You know, some people seem to think that if you're not displaying your count, people are going to think you're hiding something. But I think that until you've monetized, you don't want to be really concentrating on what your subscriber count is. That's not what the focus of your channel should be. So personally, I would recommend that you do not display it. Now you can always go and check your dashboard to see how many subscribers you have. This is just whether or not it's going to display when somebody comes to your channel. So, but I mean, you know, make your own decision on that, but that's my recommendation anyway. We've already done the feature eligibility thing, so we don't need to go any further with that at this point. And then we've got upload defaults. So if you've got some information that you always want to have included on your videos, say for instance you've got some links in there that you want to use, then this is where you can put that information and it'll automatically get added to every video that you upload. So that's always a handy feature. So now it doesn't really matter what we put in here. This is just a demo, but this is kind of what some people might use. And it's important, if you're going to put links in here, make sure you put in the HTTPS and your ://. That way the link will be clickable in your description. If you don't put that in, nobody can click on your link and they'd have to copy and paste it. So just something to be aware of. And we'll leave it at that. But you know, if you've got like affiliate links, or you're going to link other videos for people to be able to view all the time, that's something you can put in here. And if you've got a default title that you like to use, you could put that in here. But usually you just leave this blank, and then it will put in for a temporary title whatever the name of your actual video file is. And then we can select our starting visibility. So normally you want to have your videos private when you upload them, and that gives you a chance to go in and set up a proper title and fill out the description and set up your tags and your thumbnail and all that kind of stuff. So it's generally good practice to start with it being private. And then you can set up default tags that you might want to use for the videos. This is different from the tags that'll show up for your channel. Okay, so these will automatically get added to every video. So you know, in my case I do tutorials, so I'm going to always put some basic things that are never going to change. And then you just put in there whatever you think is going to be appropriate. Now I find that it's a lot easier to put a bunch of extra stuff in here that might cover, you know, 4 or 5 different genres of videos that I'm doing, and then delete the ones I don't need for every video. It's faster to do that than it is to go and type everything in from scratch for that particular video. So it just gives you a good starting point. Then we've got advanced settings. So you can come in here and decide what type of licensing you want to do for your videos. Do you want to use the standard license or Creative Commons? If you use Creative Commons, that means anybody can download your video and use it for their own purposes. So that may not be the best idea. And you can choose a category. So in my case, I would normally go with how to and style, but you would use whatever closely matches what you're doing. And we also want to set our video language. So down here in my case, it's going to be English Canada. And then you also can pick what language you want to have for your default for your videos. So, you know, in case of Canada, maybe you're going to do videos mostly in French. So you might choose French for your title and description language. But in my case, I just picked the same for both, and that'll probably be the case for most people. And if you want to get into doing closed captions, you've got some options you can set up here. If you don't know what these are, you probably don't need to worry about it. And in our comment visibility, we would normally want to hold potentially inappropriate comments for review. You can hold all comments for review, but then when your channel starts getting busy, that can be a little tedious. So, and do you want to allow users to view the ratings for your videos? So do you want them to see the thumbs up and thumbs down, basically? So normally I just leave that on. And then we've got permissions. Normally you're not going to have to worry about that. If at a later time when you start getting busier, if you want to invite some people to be managers or moderators, that kind of thing, this is where you would do that. So you go up here to invite and you put in their email address, and then it would send them a message saying they've been invited, and then if they accept, then it'll show up here and it'll show what role that they're in. And you've always got the learn more that you can click on to get more information. And then we've got our community tab, and once you've got your permissions done, then you can add moderators and approve users and stuff in here. You can also put in blocked words. So if you've got specific words that you don't think are going to get covered by the default filter, you can put those here. I'm not going to bother with that because I don't want to have those words showing up on screen for the algorithm. And then you can also block links here. So if you've got a particular person that you want to block from being able to make any comments on your channel, you can do that here. Or block any links you don't want to be showing up in your comments on your videos. And then we've got a default section. You can also turn this on for live chat to hold potentially inappropriate messages for review. Probably a good idea to turn that on. So we're going to click on save. Okay, and you'll see that we've got a little section in our dashboard here for current subscribers. Now there's not much information to show in here to begin with, but as you start adding stuff and time goes by, this entire screen will get filled with information. I don't really want to show you mine for my main channel because that's not really something I want everybody else looking at. Sorry, but that's just the way it is. This is where you would come when you're going to upload a video. So we're going to need some basic videos to get us started so I can show you some of the features. And we're also going to need some playlists and stuff. So before we actually start uploading videos, let's go to playlists. And we'll go over here and we'll click on new playlist. And so here's where we've got to make some decisions. So I'm going to create one here so you can kind of see how it works and what the options are. And then I'll just create a couple more, but I'll pause the video while I do that, and we'll come back when that's done. So an obvious one for me is going to be, YouTube tutorials, and then you can pick visibility. So if you want this as a public playlist that everyone else is going to be able to see, then you choose public. And for our purposes, that's the one we want. Now, if you're using this channel for some of your own research and stuff that you want to keep handy to this channel, then you might want to make some playlists private so nobody but you will be able to see them. So we'll just click on create. And now I'll create a couple more and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've added a few categories here. Now there are some more things that we want to do with these before we actually start adding videos to these playlists. So we're going to go and click on the little pencil icon here, which allows us to edit. And this gives us access to some more advanced capabilities of our playlists. So here we can go in and edit the title. If you want to change the name of the playlist, you do that here. So here we can go in and actually set up a description. So it's whatever you feel is appropriate. Save that. And once again, you can go and edit whether you want it to be public, unlisted, or private. Now, unlisted, what that means is if people are looking at your channel, it won't show that playlist, and it won't, by default, it won't show the videos in it on a list. But if anybody's got the link, they can still access it. But private, of course, is for your eyes only, or your managers if you've assigned any. And we've got these little 3 dots here, so we're going to click on that, and that gives us some options here. So we can collaborate with another channel here, which would give them access to this playlist. And we've also got some playlist settings, so we're going to click on that. And here you can set up a default for the videos in the playlist. Are you going to allow people to embed them in, say, a web page or on social media or something? And then you can decide, do you want new videos that you put in the list showing up at the top of the list or on the bottom? So if you want them on the top of the list, then you want to turn that on. And that's something I actually recommend that you do, because you don't want people to have to scroll down to the bottom of your playlist to see the most recent ones that you've added. So I actually recommend having this turned on. And now this one here, this is for setting an official series of a playlist. So a couple things to note is if you put if you set a playlist as being an official series, then you cannot put any videos that you add to this playlist in any of your other playlists. But that has the added advantage is that when somebody goes in and looks at the first video in an official playlist, then it'll automatically suggest the other ones for them. And if they have autoplay turned on, it'll automatically play them in order for that official series. So it's not something that I actually use, but because I tend to like to put my videos in 2 or 3 categories. So on my main channel, I've actually got one that's called All Tutorials. So that's and I put all my tutorials in there if they're an actual tutorial. But I do have some other stuff on my channel that isn't tutorials, so that's why I created that. But that's really up to you. If it's something that you think you're going to use that will be valuable to you, then turn it on. And it certainly does have a place. So we'll just hit done. Now I just wanted to show you how to do that. I'm not going to go through all of the playlists that we've made to do that. So I just wanted to kind of run you through that so you know what it's all about. And this, of course, is if you wanted to delete a playlist, this is where you would do that. You can also add videos to a playlist here, but there are other ways to add to the playlist as well. So I tend not to do it here. So we can just close that. And let's go back to our dashboard. And we need to upload some videos. So I'm going to upload a single video and then take you through the different aspects of what to do when you've uploaded a video. Then I'm going to upload a bunch more videos as a group. I'll show you how to start that, and then we'll come back at the end of that. So you've got a couple choices. You can either bring up a file explorer or finder window, depending on your operating system, and just drag them onto here, and that works fine. In this case, we'll just click on the select files, and I'm just going to go grab some stock footage from my library, and we'll just grab the one here for now. The reason I'm only doing one this time is because if you do a whole group of them, then you don't get this interface for it. you'd have to go in manually video by video and do the editing to get to this stuff. So as you're doing this for the first time, it's going to show you these hints that pop up, tell you various things. So once you viewed it and closed it, it shouldn't pop up again. So you'll see that because we didn't specify a default title in our channel setup, then it just uses whatever the file name of the video actually was for your title. And since we're kind of on this section, I'm going to talk for a minute about SEO stuff, so search engine optimization. So one thing I've done some experiments with this, and there are some schools of thought that say you should not duplicate your title in the description, but I found that can actually hurt your placement. I did a little test a little while ago where I checked the overall SEO settings using a tool that can give you those numbers. TubeBuddy will do that for you. And SEO comes in a couple different areas. One is an SEO number that you get for just the title, and then you get an overall SEO number for the entire video, which includes title, description, keywords, that kind of thing. What I noticed was that if I duplicate the title in the description, right, it should be the very first thing in the description, and then type in a proper description, it actually gave me 20 more percent. So it's pretty significant. That can make a big difference. And some people don't think it's very important, and they don't think keywords are that important anymore, but they all have their place. And if it wasn't used in the algorithm, then YouTube would remove it. Where it really comes into play is if somebody does an actual search on Google for a subject matter, the keywords that you put in here have a pretty strong effect on how it's going to show up there, in combination with a proper description and title. But it can really hurt you if you don't actually put in keywords when it comes to people trying to find your stuff from Google search as opposed to a YouTube search. They are two different animals. So just something to be aware of. Now, there are tools out there that will help you design a title and figure all that out, but that's kind of beyond the scope of this tutorial. I will be covering that in another tutorial in the future, but not today. So we're going to actually copy our title, and that's going to go into the description. And then we can put in a description that's appropriate. Doesn't matter what we put in there, this is just a demo. And then if you've got a thumbnail that you've made and you've done the actual verification on your phone number, then you will be able to upload a thumbnail. And a quick thing about thumbnails, if you do them as a PNG, then you will have issues with that picture showing up if you put a link to your video on Facebook. For some reason, Facebook doesn't like PNGs as a thumbnail for your video, so stick with JPEGs. So just a little side note that some people aren't aware of. We want to grab a thumbnail to stick in there. So I'll show you how to do that. So you can either drag it in, which is what I normally do, but we'll just do it this way for now. So let me just go and grab a thumbnail from a completed project. Oh, let's use this since that was on my last video. So just double click that. And now you can see it shows up here. And then we can pick a playlist. So we can put this under YouTube tutorials. and we can hit done. Also, if you notice, when you pop that list down, you can add a new playlist here if you need to. So, and you notice it's got no, it's not made for kids already selected. And then we can click on show more. And if you've got any paid promotions in your videos, you would need to turn this on. But at this stage, you're not going to have any, I would think. So, and you can leave that turned on, doesn't matter. And now you see it's got the default keywords that we set up. Now, another thing is that the very first keyword in here should also match the title of your video. So we just pick our very first one, go to the beginning of it. So you'll see my little cursors flashing there at the beginning. And then we'll just paste that in there, and then we hit the comma, and it'll separate it into the separate keywords. Now, I could get into a whole thing about how to pick your keywords, but I'm just going to leave it as there. You want to pick keywords that only make sense for the video that you're uploading. You do not want to put in a bunch of keywords that you think will get people to find your video that aren't related to your video. You will get penalized if you get caught doing that. Sometimes they'll remove your video, and if you're egregious enough about what you're doing, they can even disable your channel for doing that. So don't do it. Now, you generally want to set up a recording date if you know it, because when people are looking for new videos, you know, when they go to their home tab on their YouTube channel or on their YouTube account, then that's going to play into whether it gets suggested to them or not. So it's generally a good idea. So you pick your recording date, and you also want to pick a location, because once again, it's going to help determine who gets suggestions of your videos. And you know, you don't want to waste the user's time clicking on videos that turn out to be in an area they don't want to see anything from, or if it's in the wrong language or something. You know, this all plays a part in it. So in my case, I would be picking Alberta. And you can't just type it in and go next. You have to pick from the list that drops down. And in here we've got a couple of choices. You know, do you want to allow embedding? Normally that's turned on because we set that up already in the channel settings. And do we want to publish this to the subscriptions feed when people have clicked on the notification bell? If you want them to get notified of it, then leave this on. If you don't, then you can turn it off. And this is kind of an important one here. If you don't want people to be able to take samples of your videos and put it in their own YouTube shorts, then make sure you turn that off. If you're producing a video that doesn't fall into your normal channel category that you picked, then you can change that now. And this video is too short to put an end screen on, so the option isn't going to appear over here, but or if it does, it'll be grayed out. So now we can click on next. Oh, and here we go. See, it's add an end screen is grayed out. So your video has to be over a certain amount of time. If memory serves, I believe it's 30 seconds before you can put an end screen on, but it could be longer. It could be like a minute or two. And if you want to add a card or upload a subtitle file, you can do that here. And then we go next. And it's going to show us the checks, so no copyright issues found or any other issues. So we'll hit next again. And of course, we've already selected private in our channel setup. So you can just leave that alone for now. If you have gone and filled everything in, then at this point you could hit public. So in this case, I'm going to hit public, and then we'll click on publish. And then we can bypass this. Unless you're going to share it right away, then you can use these. But for the purpose of the tutorial, I'm not going to get into that here. And if we go to content, we can see we've got our one video that we just did. And now I'm going to upload a bunch of videos. We'll come back when that's done. Actually, I'll show you how to get that started, and then I'll cut away and we'll come back. So we can go back to dashboard, go up here and click on upload, select files, and we'll grab a few more videos. Now I'm skipping this one because YouTube doesn't like it for some reason and always deletes it when I try and upload it. So we'll just pick a few, so we've got a few things in there. And then we hit open. And now you see it pops up this list. All the videos are uploading. And you don't get that interface that we did before when we uploaded a single video. And I'll show you how to go in and get to that information to edit it once this is all done. So I'll bring you back in a few minutes. Okay, so the uploading is done, kind of. Now I had thought since we had gone ahead and done verification that we didn't have a daily limit. Obviously they've changed that now. So maybe you have to have at least a few subscribers before you can upload more. There might be some other levels of approvals that need to go through before it'll let us do that. This will do for now. So we'll close that. And you know, maybe they will just want to check out my channel for a little bit before to make sure everything's legitimate before they let me start uploading. Okay, so it's still doing some processing. Looks like it's finished processing on a couple of them. So if we want to get in and do some editing on description and stuff, you just go here, click on this little pencil. So now we're back into that same interface, so we can put in our description and thumbnail and choose our playlists. So I'm not going to do any of the other stuff, except I will choose playlist here, so we've got some stuff for the next section of the tutorial. So we'll just pick one, doesn't really matter. And then once again, you would hit your show more and go down and do the other stuff. And then we can hit next. Once again, these aren't long enough to put an end screen on. So we'll just next our way through it. And we'll go public, publish. Okay, now I'm going to go do that to the rest of them, and then we'll come back. So I'm going to come back a little sooner than I had intended originally. So this one is actually long enough so I can show you how to do an end screen. So we don't have any to import from yet. If we'd already done this on one other video, then we could just import that setup. So we'll just click on add. Okay, now the way this works is you can go back, I think a maximum of 20 seconds from the end, and I think it has to be at least 10 seconds long. So they've got some pre-built ones here, so we've got one video that we want to have on the end screen and one subscribe, a couple of videos, a different layout for the, we've got two videos, one video and a playlist and a subscribe. So you can just pick these. So let's say we pick this one. So then we would click on that. So for the specific video, you can have it do the most recent upload, which is something a lot of channels use for one of them. You can choose a specific video, so if you've got a series that you are referencing and you want them to be able to find the next one and the previous one, then you could do that here. Or you can let YouTube pick the best for the viewer. So, and then under playlist, now we can go in here and we can pick a playlist. And then you can move these around, or you can resize them. But that's usually a pretty good placement, but you could put it down in the bottom corner. So let's say you wanted to add another video to here. So we go over here and go plus element. And then we could pick a video. So now you can't choose more than one of the same option unless it's choose a specific video. But we could come in here and then we could pick a particular video that we want them to see. So this is where you would, if you want them to be able to find the next video and the previous video to one in the middle of a series, that this is where you can do that. And this here is, if when they hover over this on the video, then they'll be able to subscribe by clicking on it. And here you can actually adjust the placement of when you want these to come in at. Say for instance, you want the subscribe one to show up first, and you want the other ones to come in a little later. This is actually a technique that I do use a fair bit, or I used to use on my channel. I don't actually do end screens anymore because I can't. End screens you can only use when you're doing 16:9 videos. If you choose any other resolution for your videos, then you can't add end screens. Don't know why they made that decision, but it is what it is. Not much I can do about it. For quite a while now, I do all my videos in ultra wide, so it just won't let me do it. But this is something I used to use. I used to have the subscription come in first and then the other ones show up later, because I had a special video, like an outro that I'd created that went on the end of every video. And I didn't want it getting obscured while I was doing the fancy effects and everything. And then once it kind of settled on the bottom of the screen, then I would let the rest of the stuff show up. So if you wanted to do something like that, you can just grab the beginning of any particular bar here, and then you can change that where that sits in time. So we could move it down to like the 50-second mark. And you can do them all the same, or you can do them differently. Say for instance, if I wanted this one to show up before the other two, but then I wanted it to go away before the other two are available, then you can do that like so. So then if we go here and click on play, and you can see this is available. And now that one shows up. And then you'll see it disappear and the other two show up. And then they'll all stay till the end of the video. And you see what happens when they hover over that for subscribing. Okay, so we'll save that and we'll go next and next. Now I'm going to leave that private for a second because I wanted to show you one other thing. So you don't have to go into full edit mode here. You can actually go over here and click the little down arrow and then make it public. So just a little time saver thing. All right, so I'll go finish doing the rest of these description things and I'll bring you back when I'm done. Okay, so we're all done adding these to different playlists. So now if we go to our playlists, we can see we've got stuff in all of them. Now whatever video you put in first is what it will usually default to as showing for the picture for that playlist. Now you can change that. So you see here, we clicked on the little three dots, and if you go over here, you can go set as playlist thumbnail. So if we wanted to change that to our other video, then whatever the thumbnail was for that video, you can use for that. Doesn't change the order of them, just what the default for the playlist thumbnail is. So we can close out of that. Okay, so now we're going to go down to customization. So here's where we can decide which video we're going to use as a channel trailer. So we can just go in here to add. And the only videos that you can select for this are ones that have been made public. So just so that you're aware of that. Let's just pick this one for kicks and giggles. So that's going to automatically play for people that aren't subscribed. And then we can choose another video that we want people to really know about when they come back to your channel, for those that are subscribed. So we can pick that one. And this is something that you want to update on a pretty regular basis. You know, anytime you put a new video up that you want to feature, then you would go change that here. So now if we go publish, and then we view our channel, now you'll see that this automatically played because, of course, we're not a subscriber. And the only section that's in there right now is uploads. Go back to customize channel. Now your shorts is already a section for you. And the only videos that can show up in your short shelf are vertical videos that are less than 60 seconds. And then of course this one is already there. Now you can remove this one if you want, but this just will show all the uploads. And you can have a maximum of, like in this area here for the featured sections, you can have a maximum of 10. Here we can add a section. And we can go, you know, one of them can be popular uploads. So which of your videos are the most popular? Now, when you're first starting out, you probably don't want to use this. You can also have a live now or past live stream. So this is all for your live streaming stuff. So here we can put in a single playlist, and it'll just show whatever videos are in there. So let's pick one where we've got a couple of videos. And you can change the order that these are in, but I'll show you how to do that once we've added a few more. So let's add another single playlist, just so we can kind of fill it out a little bit. And then we can put in a multiple playlist. And then you can decide on what you want to call this. So, and then we turn a checkbox on for each one that we want to show up. And I mean, you can divide this up any way you want. You don't have to put them all in there. You can just, you know, if you've got some that are, let's say you've got like a general vlog channel. So if you got some that's comedy stuff, and some where you're building your house, and some where you're fixing your car, you could have several playlists in each one of those sections. So you can use this multi-playlist thing to show all the ones that are related to that particular subject matter. Now, for a YouTube channel, I don't recommend that you have that wide of a style of videos that you put out. You want to try and keep to a specific genre usually, but that's completely up to you. So now you can see our playlists are showing up there. Now we can add another section here. Any subscriptions. If you want people to see what you're subscribed to, you could put that there. But I think what's more useful is if you do a featured channels. And then you can search for a channel here, so I can go Fuzzee Tutorials. And I can give the checkbox there. Huh. I see we've got a couple other guys using Fuzzee, just a different spelling. But just so you can kind of see how this works, I'll just pick a couple at random here. Let's go Fuzzee Robot. And just because it kind of tickles me, Fuzzy Mushroom. And you can change the order that these are going to show up in. You can just grab these little 2-line things and you can move them around. So if I want to take this and change the position, you just drag it like so. Okay. So now if we want to change the position of these, it's the same thing. You grab the little 2-line thing and we can move this up here. Now I'm not going to bother adding 10 full sections because it's just a tutorial. But we'll go here and we'll publish. And then view channel. And there we go. So a lot of times if you've got channels that you get a lot of good ideas from and you want your subscribers to know about, or channels you collaborate with, this is where you can put them. So I could do another one of these called channels I collaborate with and put those in there. So it's really all a personal preference. So we've got the basic layout set up here. And then we've got our other tabs. Now it is possible to move some stuff around in here, but most people probably don't bother. They usually just change the sort by, so you can change it to most popular. Right now it's set to date added, newest. And then people can look at your playlists. And you can see, maybe here's all the created playlists, and then here's that section we made called all my playlists. That shows up here as well. And then we've got our favorite channels that we put in. If you set up another one for channels, for featured channels, then they would show up here as well. And then we've got our About tab. And we're going to want to set some stuff up there as well. So there is going to be a third one. Because the About tab, there's quite a bit of stuff that I wanted to go over with you on that. And a few little tricks and stuff you can do. It might seem like it's just a real simple thing, but there's a little more to it. And this video is getting a little longer already than I wanted it to be. So we're already over an hour on this. And even by the time I edit it down, it's still probably going to be close to an hour. So if you found this valuable, I'd appreciate it if you would like the video, subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Bye for now.